I was gonna say dad, and then I ended up saying mom, but then I thought about you, and I was like, wait, I wasn't talking about you specifically.
His mom did leave him. You hear her laughing at me? My mom left me as a baby, and she laughed. Rude, that bitch.
Hey guys, welcome to the Millennial Sh podcast. I'm Lola, and this is Dustin, and we're kind of excited to have you guys on today.
If you guys saw our first episode, you noticed we kind of went a little unconventional, right? So we had Andrew win on over at Volante Realty Group. He came on and kind of shared his story, right? And so that was super awesome for us because we got to give you guys a glimpse of what it's going to look like every week. We want to share different people's stories and their trials and how they got from where they are to where they wanted to be. And so we thought starting with Andrew was a really great option. True goal here is like, hey, we want to have a conversation, guys. Like we want you guys to be able to, you know, kind of maybe learn something from us, take something away from what we say, but it's not us just talking at you. And so we're going to have a lot of guests on here that share their stories, and we're just really kind of learning from them and seeing what they've experienced. And that shared experience is really important because I think it does help bring people together and can help, you know, you develop as a whole.
So Dustin, I was trying to figure out how to structure this introductory video, right? So I'm like, how do I structure this? What would draw me in? What would make me say like, I need to tune into that podcast? And then I thought about it and I was like, if I was a viewer, I would be sitting there like, how the hell did this cute little Asian girl and this weird ass white dude end up teaming up and creating a podcast? That would be my first thought.
Which one of us is the cute Asian girl? Like, that's my real question, because, like, I am adorable. We just talked about it a second ago. Like, I'm the epitome of human physique.
I think we're such an interesting duo.
Because of me.
Do you want to host this by yourself? Like, do you need the room?
My ego does, for sure. Yeah, it was a weird one for sure. Like, I think we were just like, hey, this, you said it. You did bring it up. And I was like, I want to do that. Let's do that. That sounds fun. Can we just talk shit the whole time? Is that what we're going to do? And then you obviously brought structure and creativity.
Speaking of like structure and planning and whatnot. So you remember our first, like the first time we sat down together and we're like, okay, what are we going to do about this? I honestly feel like we were very in sync about what we wanted out of it because I was trying to figure out, okay, what is this going to be about? I don't want it to be about like our businesses, right?
Yeah,
because for one, there's only so much that you can talk about, and there's already so much information out there.
You're going to hit it on the head pretty much like after about 3 episodes. You're going to be like, oh, that was fun while it lasted. Like, obviously, our backgrounds help, and they shape our decisions and shape how we talk and stuff like that. But I agree. I think we were kind of both on the same page of, yeah, I don't really want to talk about real estate because, let's be honest, mortgages has got to be the most boring industry in the world.
Like, do you remember the first day we met? I asked your question. I can't remember what it was. I was like, oh, do you think rates are going to go down?
So that's why you don't let me drink and then ask me a question.
You can't ask you a question regardless, sober or... So I asked Justin, I was like, I'm trying to make small talk with him. I met him for the first time. And I'm like, hey, so what do you think is going to happen with rates? And I'm expecting like, this, little, like maybe couple minute spiel. And this dude talks to me for like literally 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe even straight. I'm just like, I don't know why I like you. I don't even remember what you said to me. I think I tuned you out probably that like 30 seconds.
So listen here, Linda. Okay. I poured my heart and soul into that discussion. Right. So, but like working with you, the reason I think we get along so well is you actually, you empathize really well. I think that's like your strongest suit is like you can see where people come from and you're kind of like, hey, and you put the extra effort in. So you do put the extra effort in more than I think most people do. And so starting a podcast with you makes perfect sense because I know you'll give it 110%. Like I know you will because you empathize with people. You're like, I want this to work because I know you want it to work, right? And then obviously that helps counterbalance my ADD.
I was just like
my full. This is so. Just so everyone knows too. I say this every day, I think, but like what you see is what you get with me. This is 100%. This is all the time. I don't know if I ever turn off. Like
no, you don't
ever. It's like if you call me at 7, you're gonna get this at 7.
Hold on, I want to go back for a second. So let's talk a little bit more about the podcast.
Yes.
When I told you like, hey, let's make a podcast before we even met, what were your thoughts? Like, what did you want out of it? Who was your audience? Like, what was going through your head?
Yeah, so I think for me, like right when you brought it up, I was like super stoked about it. And the reason I was so stoked about it is because I always wanted to, and this is my hardest problem. I complain about this probably more than anybody does in the mortgage world. not everyone is a team player. It's very
Yeah,
cutthroat.
you tell me that all
like
the time.
it is like some lenders. There are guys out there that are and girls out there that are super supportive, and they're like, yeah, but a lot of people are not, right? And so like when I got in the industry, there weren't like mentors, right? At least where I was at, right? Like there weren't mentors. Like everyone was like, oh yeah, no, if he takes my business, then I don't have business. So like for me, I was always like, man, I love mentorship. I love people. I like learning people's stories and hearing what they do and then taking that and applying it to how I can utilize it. So I just adapt people's stuff all the time. So when I talk to somebody, even if it's for 5 minutes, if I learn something that's useful, I'm like, sweet. And that's my goal here is like somebody can hear something from one of the people that's talking. And if they get one nugget out of that can help, vault them to take the next step or change their business or do whatever, right? It's for some people, it really does only take one thing. And so that was my big hope and goal. And, if you can focus that on people that are in our age demographic, that are trying to build a business or not even trying to build a business, right? Like just trying to do something else with their life. Like this is, I think, a really good outlet for them.
What are some like things that you're hoping to talk about in future episodes?
So I like, to be honest, I like the hard stuff, right? Like I want to hear what sucked for somebody else.
See you cry.
I will never cry. But like, yeah, I don't know. I like the hard stuff, right? Like, because I think that's the most real stuff, right? Everyone loves to get on, Instagram or Facebook or whatever and just be like, yeah, look, I'm awesome. Like, look how great my life is. But it's like, yeah, they leave out that part of like what's hard, right? Because like, it's not rainbows. You can make a fuckload of money. And I promise you, it's not always rainbows. But like, I think that's the key, right? So I want the hard stories. I want to know what sucked. And I want to know what people did to overcome that suck.
Honestly, I'm looking forward to talking, like you're saying the hard stuff. I'm going to get specific. I'm looking forward to talking about like the traumatic ass shit. I want to hear about how your, not you, but like, how your mom left you when you were a kid. And I want to hear about like how that helped you grow into the person you are today. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you picked my mom. Like, why are you picking my mom?
I said that I prefaced, I was going to say dad, and then I ended up saying mom, but then I thought about you, and I was like, wait, I wasn't talking about you specifically.
His mom did leave him. You hear her laughing at me? My mom left me as a baby, and she laughed. Rude, that bitch.
Like the dots connected as soon as
you said it. Yeah, I was like, damn girl, like why are you taking jabs at me? She's just trying to get me to cry.
Yeah, I want to hear about all that. That's what I want to hear about. I want to see you cry. You told me you're going to tell me one story from the military each podcast we do.
Oh,
yeah, you made that commitment.
That's a good one. Okay, that's fair. All right, so I'll tell you about the time I ran my friend over with a car.
Okay. So let's start with you introducing yourself first, then, so they have some background.
So if you guys haven't caught on by now, I'm Dustin. So I run a mortgage brokerage here, based out of the Twin Cities. I've been doing that for a few years, and the whole goal of this, I got a family of 3 now, plus my 2 annoying ass dogs. I like my wife; she's cool, right? The rest of them suck, but.
You just have to say that she's going to watch this.
Yeah, she's going to watch this 100%. I'm trying to get brownie points. All right. Okay. But yeah, on a serious note, right? So my whole goal in life is just getting my family to a better spot than they were the day before. Right. And so I pretty much just grind until that happens. And along the way, I get to meet some really cool people, and I've got to learn some really good stories. And, I spent a lot of time in the military. And so that kind of helped shape kind of how I am now.
So what did you do when you got out of the military?
Oh, I bartended. Yeah. That's all I did, dude. Yeah. I bartended for like 3 years while I went to school. And then, I got out and I started working at Bank of America. And then
just knowing you, like, I can't even see you as a bartender. Could you even see over the counter, Dustin?
So it was a lower counter, all right, specifically. And I only hired short people. It was fantastic. We had one guy that was really big, actually. He was huge. And I was like, you're not allowed to work the same shift as me. Yeah. And he was like, why? I was like, yeah, because I think I'm an alpha and you obviously look like an alpha. So this is not going to work. And he was like, fair enough. I was like, so you'll work Fridays, I'll work Saturdays. Just how we went.
Go into the story now, because you were going to tell us a story.
Oh, yeah. So my best friend, his name's Josh. Josh is my best friend in the world. Like, I love the guy. He probably hates me more than I love him. But
sounds like our relationship.
Yeah, it's my relationship with most people if I like them. So he and I were going to go out one night. All right. And the way we were set up where we were stationed at down in Fort Campbell. So like the way it worked is like there was a huge parking lot across from like the barracks, which is where you live, but our barracks were like apartments. And so there's across the street. And so we had just come down, like, because we lived on the 4th floor of this, like the barracks. So we had just come down the stairs and we walked all the way across the street and we were about to go out, right? We were about to go out and go drink. And so we're getting in the car. And as we get in the car, Josh's like, I have to piss. And I'm like, okay. I was like, we'll run back upstairs. I'm not fucking running back upstairs. I was like, oh, well, dude, just piss right there. Like, we're at the back of the parking lot and like there's literally like a little barrier thing and then there's like the woods. And I was like, oh, just piss right by the barrier, dude. You're fine. Just don't go back up. And it was dark, so it wasn't a big deal. So he's like, oh yeah, good idea. So he gets out of the car, okay? And my stupid fucking squirrel brain was like, it'd be super funny if I bumper tap him while he's pissing. Like, I'll just let off the gas a little bit and he'll piss on himself. And this all went through my brain within 16 seconds of him getting out of the car. So I was like, I'm just going to bumper tap him. Like, I'm just going to do it. Like, so he's in front of me. My headlights are on. And I just took the car out of park and I just let off the brake. And it just rolled forward. And I meant to hit it, but I hit it too hard. Mm-hmm. And he went under. And so I ran him over, like ran his leg over. I hit him with the car. And so I panicked then because I'm like 22 at this time. Yeah. And I freaked out. I was like, oh, fuck. And I see him like slapping like the front of the car because I'm on his leg.
I don't know if I don't know if you're his best friend. Maybe
yeah, dude, I'm telling you. So anyways, he smacks it. So what happened then is I panicked. So then I put the car in drive and I just drove forward a little bit. So I got off his leg. But then I panicked again because I realized I ran him over and I backed up over him.
Oh my God.
And so I ran his leg over like twice and like he got like.
What is that show? Is it like Dumbass or something like that?
Jackass?
Yeah. That's like.
I don't know.
Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah, I've seen it 100%.
That sounds exactly like something that.
It was like I said, in theory, the goal was to make him piss on himself, which did effectively happen. So, like, it wasn't like I was wrong. Like, I did it right. The execution was really poor. So, yeah. Yeah. He did not, like, once I realized he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
I laughed hysterically for about 10 minutes in the front seat of the car. I don't think we went out that night. I think we went right back upstairs. Like, because he was so
he
mad.
Didn't even get medical attention?
No, we didn't do that. We were like 20. He's like 21. It wasn't that big of a deal. What were we going to do? Tell him we were drinking and I ran my friend over with a car? This was just a Tuesday night when we were stationed at Fort Campbell down in Kentucky. This was just like hey, what do you want to do tonight? Yeah, let's go out. All right, sweet, let's go out. And I'm going to bumper tap you and you're going to pee on your pants. Yeah. I never said I was mature.
No, nobody assumed that.
No one has accused me of that in their life.
No, not at all. What else do we need to know about you?
I think that's it for now. You'll learn more and more as time goes on.
Yeah. We can't wait to hear one story
no.
every podcast.
I know. I'm going to have to think of all the stories and how many I've forgotten.
I don't want to hear those stories, though. I want to hear the traumatic stories. I love hearing those
you're
stories.
You're a fucking weird person. You're probably one of those people that reads like horror novels and you're like,
fall asleep.
God, this person's dying in this book. I love it.
I fall asleep listening to like true crime and like horror stories. That's what I fall asleep. They do cause for some pretty weird dreams sometimes.
I worry for Andrew. Like, I wonder if you're going to kill him.
I feel like that's a pretty common thing with women, though.
No, if you fall, like, listening to true crime is cool, all right? Watching true crime shows, totally cool. Listening to it as I fall asleep, like, the fuck is wrong with
I feel like I also have ADHD, right? So listening to it helps me, like, focus on a story so that I'm focusing on the one thing, right? My thoughts aren't racing. And then the second thing is, I think it's just the dude's voice. Like, it's very soothing. If anybody's ever listened to the Let's Read podcast.
So you've got a dude talking like this, like, and next he stabbed her in the throat. Like, that's the fucking problem. Like, it's the fact that you're like, oh, he has a soothing voice as she was murdered violently, like, and Lola passed out. Like, that's no. That's the problem. The fact that you're laughing. Yeah, because it's fucking weird.
Oh my God, I'm crying. That's hilarious. When you put it like that, I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, but yes, that's exactly what I do.
See,
I love that shit. It just, I don't know what it is.
All right, Lola, we wrapped up with me. So tell us about you. Tell me your whole story. But please don't share all your traumatic stuff on the first episode. I don't have an hour.
Do you want to hear my birthing stories?
Absolutely the fuck not, dude. Dude, just real quick caveat before you finish this. Our fucking OBGYN, when my wife was giving birth, so I am a queasy person. I will not hide this from anybody. God. Anybody. I will not hide this. I'm like, the birthing process, I do not care. My kids are beautiful, but fuck that. All right. Like if I was a woman, I would never have a child, period. So our OBGYN like tapped me and I said, no. Like I was looking at the wall. I said, no. And she went, and she hit me again. And I was like, her name's Dr. Brett. And I was like, no, it's gross. She goes, just look. And I was like, I looked and I went, oh God. And I stopped and she goes, oh, you're going to need to sit down, aren't you? I was like,
Is that you with everything or is it just?
Oh, it's the birthing process. And continue, please. Please tell us about yourself.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm Lola. Dustin says, what do you say? I have a whole basketball team or an army of kids?
Yeah. Lola's got a whole fucking goddamn soccer team.
Yeah, a soccer team. I've got 4 kids. Oh my God. 7, 4, 3, and 2. And I've been in real estate for I think almost 6 years now. So I think really starting this really similar to what we were talking about earlier, with being able to take things and learn from other people and have intentional conversations and taking it and applying to your own life. So if I was somebody that wasn't hosting this, I would tune in solely because of the topic itself. Like you have people that are having these great intentional conversations, but we can also shoot the shit and talk about giving birth.
We're not going to continue talking about giving birth. Like
I want to do an episode on giving birth.
Weird. Dustin's schedule didn't work that podcast episode. It's just a whole fucking We're going to have a guest host because Dustin's just like, that's gross. Don't get me wrong. Ladies, once again, super, super admirable what you guys do. It's amazing. You get to give life. Awesome. Still freaks me out every day. Not going to grow up.
All right. I think that about wraps things up.
Yeah. So guys, really appreciate you guys tuning in. We cannot wait for you guys to join us with our whole host of guests we're going to have on this podcast. And hopefully you guys learn some things along the way.
Yeah. And in the meantime, we would love to hear, what you guys want us to talk about, what would make you tune into this podcast. So leave a comment and we'll make sure we get to it.
As long as it's not murder stories or birthing, we're good.
We're going to do both.
Absolutely not.
And we're going to make you cry.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of your day. I'm going to do ASMR now.